Hello everyone, and welcome to the Motivation Academy podcast. Every Monday and Friday, we come out with a short and to-the-point podcast to help transform yourself from who you are now to the person you want to be. My name is Owens, and the podcast starts now. For anyone out there who is thinking about a career in the Air Force, this podcast is for you. Maybe you're in your junior year of high school, or maybe you're in your first year of college, but you're not really sure what career or specialty to consider. Maybe you have questions about what it's like to serve in the Air Force. First, let me clarify a few things about the Air Force. Contrary to popular belief, the Air Force has been getting shot at since World War I, and we've been shooting back ever since. Today, the Air Force has a specialty unit called the Air Force Special Warfare Unit. It's a combat unit that serves roles in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they've been around for years, and they're called upon when needed. Their training is actually much like the Navy SEALs, not quite exactly the same thing, and that's okay. We're not supposed to be the SEALs. One thing I want to be clear to all my listeners out there, when I talk about the Air Force, I'm an Air Force veteran myself. The Air Force is, by its root core definition, an air support unit, not a ground combat unit. Although they do have a special warfare unit, along with other units that serve in capacities that are similar to a quote-unquote combat capacity. The vast majority of the Air Force is an air support unit. That is true. We're not supposed to be like other branches of the military. If that were the case, we would all be the same. That would be pretty self-defeating. Think about it. If the Marines and the Army call in an airstrike and we're not there, then what's the point of the Air Force? That's why we're there. We're supposed to be there for them when they call. We're not supposed to be ground combat units. There are thousands of jobs in the Air Force, many of which do not carry a gun on a regular basis. Air Force enlisted personnel are in fact required to qualify on firearms, both rifle and handgun. Not the same thing as the Army and the Marines, of course, but we are qualified to shoot. I know, I had to do it. I have a marksman medal for small firearms. I was qualified to shoot on the M16. The Air Force even has their own security police force. They have their own police force called the Air Force Security Forces. They perform a vital role. They work on their feet long hours every day, keeping airmen safe on base and guarding not only aircraft but also nuclear missile sites. Even a two-striper in the Air Force has more authority than a full bird colonel or a base commander. They can pull you over and write a citation if needed. While stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where I was stationed when I was young, I volunteered for extra duty and was assigned to the 88th Air Force Security Forces Squadron. On any given day, at the Air Force's second largest Air Force base, there were over 80,000 people entering on and off the base. So I assisted those who were working in a full-time capacity in the Air Force Security Forces by helping them guard flight lines with bombers, cargo, and fighters. When I was stationed at MacDill Air Force Base during the Cold War in Tampa, Florida, I was assigned to the 72nd Tactical Fighter Training Squadron. It was an F-16 air base. They kept us safe so we could focus on maintaining the fighters during the Cold War. They play a vital role to the Air Force, and it was an honor to serve with them. For those who serve in the Air Force and want to make it a career, make sure it's your daily mission to stay out of trouble. Do more than what's asked of you. Keep your uniform clean. Keep yourself clean as well. Be early to work. Demonstrate by your actions that you are leadership material. Officers in the Air Force are required to lead. Enlisted personnel are expected to lead. Set the example that others follow. You want to be a leader? That's how you do it. You set the example that others follow. While in the Air Force, you get every ribbon, every medal, every training opportunity you can get while serving. Because, folks, let me tell you something. In the private sector, it comes out of your pocket. Take lots of pictures and shoot video while you're serving in the Air Force while you're young. It will mean everything to you 40 years later when you're old. Because when you're old, when you're in your 50s and 60s and 70s, that shadow box sitting on your wall that you earned will mean everything to you. Score high on the ASVAB. Because you'll have more choices that way. The higher your score, the more choices you have. When I retook the ASVAB while I was stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I actually changed my score from the original 75 in high school all the way up to a 98. And because of that reason, they told me I could have any job I wanted. You'll never hear that in the private sector. Take pride serving in the greatest Air Force the world has ever known. If you want more information about serving in the Air Force, go to airforce.com. You can also look up information about serving as a maintainer. There's many other websites out on the web. You can also go to f16.net. There's lots of information about there. In fact, it is considered probably the world's #1 resource for F-16 related information. You can go to my website at ericgrantowens.com. You can also contact me on my social media websites on Twitter and Instagram as well there. And you can also do that on soundcloud.com. I would appreciate a shout out if you get a chance. Also, I'll be adding more podcasts regarding military service as time goes on. I try and provide at least a minimum of 2 podcasts every week. I do have a day job, so I do this on my free time. I try and be as consistent as I can. If you have questions about serving in the Air Force or as an enlisted person, feel free to drop me a line. Ask me a question. I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. If I'm not able to answer them, I'll provide you a resource where you can find that answer. And remember, bookmark my podcast so you get updates on what's going on. Also go to my website at ericgrantowens.com. There is a lot of information there on that website, and I think you'll like it. It's a pretty cool website. I put a lot of work into that, and I do update it on a regular basis. And remember, folks, this is the United States of America. We are the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thanks for listening.